everybody, and welcome to another board game discussion video. This is another sort of continuation of the last couple of videos that I did where I talked about friendly local game stores and the good and bad and the ugly with them, and then also about gaming with non-gamers. So the continuation for now is I wanted to talk more about gamers themselves as a whole. Now, as you may have guessed, these last few videos have basically been because of things that I personally have been going through. Now, we're going to set all of that aside because the stuff that I wanted to talk about is still important. And the main topic for today is gaming stigmatism and the sort of knee-jerk reactions that people have when they hear about games and that you're a gamer and all that kind of stuff. And there were a couple of points that I wanted to make. And the first one is just the general idea of games, okay, because it is a relatively unusual thing. The second thing is the childishness aspect of it, and you know, the fact that yes, we're all getting older, and it's like, what, you still play games, but you're too old to play games, and you know, all that kind of stuff. And then the third thing that I wanted to really talk about is, again, just sort of what it means as far as community is concerned, and again, going back to the friendly local game stores and how important some of the stuff like that is. So, like I said, first and foremost, just gaming in general. We have to realize that gaming is a niche thing. It is a relatively small thing. It's not, you know, it's not nearly as big as video gaming. It's not, you know, it's also not nearly as big as sports, obviously. You know, it's just, that's just the way it is, okay? It's just a fact, right? And obviously talking specifically about board gaming in this case. One of the other things specific more to board games is this behind me. You need a lot of space for board gaming. That's just the way it is. If you have board games, you need a place to put them. If you want to play board games, you need a place to play them. You need space, you need room. And one of the issues that I've had with that, recently at least, is when introducing people to this aspect, this facet of my life, is sort of like, whoa, that's a lot of games. Like, I know you had a lot of games, but whoa, that is a lot of games. And then, you know, like, again, it's a knee-jerk reaction for a lot of people to just say, like, holy crap, you know, like seeing a giant wall of, like, a bunch of manga or whatever it happens to be. You know, it's just that knee-jerk shock reaction of, like, I knew that you were into this, but I didn't know you were into it. And then, you know, me, like, first off, as a person, I feel bad. Because I feel like, oh, did I like blindside you? Because I said, you know, I'm a gamer. I told you about this, all this kind of stuff. And then at the same time, you know, I feel the need to like explain it. I'm like, well, I've been collecting games for nearly 10 years. So yeah, I have a decent sized collection. And it's a hobby, just like any other hobby. You spend money on it. You know, you spend a decent amount of money over the course of many, many years, and you build up a collection. You know, it's just the way it is. Just, again, like with any other major hobby that a person can have, but at the same time, it's frustrating to have to go to that. You know, why is it that I need to explain myself? Why is it that I need to say that gaming is something that I enjoy, and like, you know, I mean, I don't care. You know, why can't I just be like, yeah, I have a lot of games, it's freaking awesome, you know, because it's cool and I love games. But at the same time, I just feel bad, and people just, like, it's just something that's so difficult to comprehend still, simply because it's not mainstream. And I'm not advocating that we try to go, you know, and make everybody play all the games. I mentioned a couple of videos ago with my gaming with non-gamers thing, that's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to try to force people into something that they don't want, but at the same time, I don't want to feel bad about having a hobby that I really enjoy. And it's really frustrating when people make me feel that. I'm just like, well, what do you want from me? You know, I like it. It's fun. It's a joyous thing. Okay, which leads us into number 2, the topic of discussion, which is the age aspect. So when you say, I am a gamer, I play games, it's what I do with my time off, you know, whatever you happen to say, then it's like, oh, cool, like, I mean, isn't that something that kid, or, you know, they'll say like, oh, that's something that my nephew and niece and son and daughter enjoy, or whatever it happens to be. And I'm just like, well, yeah, but that doesn't mean that adults can't play games too. You know, like, we've still got new games of Pokemon coming out. I played the original Pokemon. I still have my original copy of Pokemon Red. And it still works, by the way, and it's awesome. And I got that, when did that come out? It was almost 20 years ago now. And I still have it. But you know what? They're still releasing new games, and that doesn't mean I'm not going to play them. Why would I not? I like the games. They are fun. You know, it's not for kids, just like with board gaming, you know, especially the hobby games, right? A lot of these games you wouldn't want to play with a kid, right? Because most of them are too complex, and a kid would just get bored and just be like, bleh. And that's not a bad thing, but it's not a good thing either. Are there games to play with kids? Of course. Are there games that kids enjoy? Obviously. Could a kid enjoy a game of Twilight Imperium? Potentially. Sure. I don't know. Like, why does it matter? It shouldn't make a difference, right? And that's the problem. This is the stigma that gaming has, because it's associated with something, you know, like, oh, I used to play games when I was a kid, or, oh, you know, like it's, I did it, I did it, it's so boring now, I don't like it, I grew out of it. I grew out of it. Like, that is the worst thing that I have ever heard. I heard somebody say that they grew out of gaming, and I'm just like, sorry. I'm sorry. It sucks. It sucks to be you. So sorry. But again, at the same time, with that stigma just like pointed directly at the faces of gamers, it's frustrating. You know, it really is. It's annoying to hear and feel that, because, like, I mean, no, there's no age limit on it. Although for some games, you can't be older than 99. Sorry. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. It says so on the box. After you turn 100, you can't play anymore. Right? It's just the way it is. Okay? And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about was the community aspect. So I mentioned this in pretty great detail last week when I talked about the so-called friendly local game stores, and really that they are important for the gaming community, but the problem is they have to be good. We need a good environment. We need a place to go out. Again, gaming is difficult. Games are expensive. Board games are expensive. Can't play all of them. Of course, there are games on my shelf that I have not played in months. A couple of them I haven't played in a few years. It's just, I mean, that's what happens when you get a lot of games. They don't always come off the shelf and hit the table. That's just the way it is. And on top of that, I don't have a lot of space to play games here. I need a place to go to play games. I really do. Whether it's, you know, somebody else's house or just meeting in a public place, whether it's a friendly local game store or like a nice little game cafe or something like that, doesn't matter. I don't care. But the problem is we need this community of people who are of this same mindset and like, yes, we like games. Games are really fun. Games are awesome. We need to have that close-knit community because frankly, everybody needs to feel welcome somewhere, right? That's really what it boils down to. We want to know that there are other people who have the same mentality as us. That really, honestly, is one of the biggest reasons why I started making these videos in the first place. What, like 3 years ago now? Almost? Right? 4 years ago? I don't know. It's been a long time. Okay, it's been a really long time, and that is really one of the biggest reasons, is because I wanted to share my passion of board games and video games and just all things nerdy and geeky and awesome with everybody that I possibly can. So I was like, boom, videos, YouTube, awesome, outreach, fun. Okay, and it's grown from there pretty much more than I ever expected it to. I honestly did not think that my little YouTube channel would get anywhere near as big as it is. Like, it's awesome, and I absolutely love it. It's tremendous, right? And this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the type of community that we need. We need to have all these people just, like, get together and be awesome and play games and just have a great time and not care about people who are just like, oh, you play games, that's so childish. Oh, you play games, oh, that's weird, I don't understand that. That's just like, whoa. Or like they walk into my game room and just be like, whoa, that's a lot of games. It's like, yes, it's a lot of games. Whoa, so what? It's like, you know, ugh. See, I'm making myself insane. I can't remember what I wanted to say. Either way, that's going to be it for today, because I wanted to keep this one relatively short for you guys, because I know the last couple were really, really long. So I wanted to keep this one pretty short, but This one, arguably, I want to hear, I definitely want to hear all that you guys have to say about this. This one is really probably the most important one of what has essentially become a mini-series of, like, Danny's spiraling doom of board game thing that has happened. TM, right? And essentially, I want to know what have you guys mostly done to deal with this kind of thing? Like, how do you approach people about it? How do you tell people about gaming? Honestly, it's gotten to the point where I'm scared of showing people my game collection, because I know how they're going to react, and I know that they're going to be like, what the fudge, right? Unless they are a gamer. And then they'll just be like, oh my god! And the problem is those people are so few and far between. It's really, really disheartening, and it's very sad. But either way, like I said, I really want to hear what you guys have to say on this topic, the stigmatization of gamers that we have, and particularly in the context of video games versus board games. I know I didn't mention that, but it really is there, especially with esports becoming such a huge thing, and Twitch streaming becoming absolutely ridiculously enormous, and all this kind of stuff, right? I really want to hear what you guys have to say, what you think, what your experiences have been with it, and all of that good stuff. But with that, thank you so very much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that it makes you think a little bit and reflect just a touch as well. But with that, thank you very, very much for being here, and I will see you next time. Thank you again for watching my video on the stigma surrounding board gaming as well as gaming in general. Again, I do apologize that my last few videos have been a little bit on the depressing side, but again, these are really important issues that we need to discuss and we need to sort of try to figure out as a community. Again, I would love to hear your guys' stories about this one. I would love to hear what you guys did to overcome anything that you had to deal with, or better yet, how you just avoid it and what you do to go and know that you're going to have fun. But with that, as always, I've got several of my lists linked up at the top of the page so you can see some more of my work, and if you want, you can click the big giant subscribe button so you can see more of me in the future. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time.